Hormozi is a perfect example that you can accelerate with bad videos. Not saying that the videos are bad, the strategy behind the channel is bad. At least there's way more money to make or views to get with these videos. If you can't hear me, I'm in a public place, and if that's annoying to you, then fuck you. So I hope it's not that bad. If it is, then it is whatever. So obviously, if you take a look at this channel, Hormozi, doing super well. So who the fuck am I to criticize with my 400 subscribers? Well, here's a screenshot. We're working with a bunch of cool people. We got a lot of views. We made them a lot of money. But this channel is not that big yet. So if you believe me, that's your choice. I don't really care. The thing with YouTube is, if you want to grow on YouTube, something has to do the heavy lifting. So it can be your authenticity, it can be your strategy, it can be the quality of your videos, it can be the controversy. When Andrew Tate went so viral on social media, I'm highly convinced it was more so the volume and the controversial message than the actual quality of the videos. You know what I mean? It didn't go viral because the quality of the video was so good. No, the message was so strong and so contradicting. So many people were talking about it because it has some parts that were right and things that people thought were wrong, so people start talking about it. It's a clash. If it's super wrong, then no one really talks about it. If it's super right, then no one really talks about it. It has to be like edging both sides pass. Anyway, what is my advice? So this is Hormozi videos, blah blah blah. You see sometimes it has an outlier, sometimes it's not an outlier. In this case, for example, not really that much outliers in this specific block of videos. And that could be of two reasons. Maybe he's really targeting someone very niche. So it's a bottom of funnel video and it was not supposed to get any views because it's only targeted towards a very specific ICP. So it makes sense to get less views. That was the strategy. But sometimes he's trying to get a lot of views, but it doesn't work. In that case, it was not supposed to happen. It's just a bad strategy. The heavy lifting is not done by the packaging, whereas they hoped, and by the simplicity, whereas they hoped it would be. Like this video, for example, this is now doing well, but if he would have done something different with the thumbnail, it would have maybe get stuck at like 150k views and nobody was really talking about it. But now the packaging, the heavy lifting, because it's quite a simple baseline information video, so it has to be carried by the simplicity and by the broadness of the video. But if it doesn't catch the algorithm at the right moment and you don't have the right words in the thumbnail and title, it flops and nobody ever sees it. Like this one, for example, he was trying to aim for a very high amount of views with this one because everyone knew about $100 million webinar that he did. This was a behind the scenes. He repackaged this video a few times, I believe. Here, yeah, he did a bunch of different thumbnails, titles, whatever, but it didn't work because the packaging is poor. So, what is my point of this video? What are you actually going to get from this video? I want to explain a few things. How to get at least the packaging right, because the video, it has so many difficulties to make it right. Your scripting, your hook, your editing, your actual message, the actual value. If you don't have unique information or a good format, then it will still not get any views. So that's a topic for another day. Right now I just want to talk about packaging because I think Hormozi has a lot of heavy lifting left. I think this one, for example, this is a bottom of funnel video, a 1 hour video, but I think it's not edging any sort of audience. That's like, I want to talk about this video, I want to argue about this video. Well, this one, the packaging is not super special, but the content was so good and the idea, an actual podcast with Tony Robbins, was so good that everyone just watched it anyway, you know? That's why. Because the video and the idea of the video is so strong and the actual content, the conversation is so good that people can't hold back and just have to watch it. Whereas that's not with this one, that the packaging has to do a bit more heavy lifting. So, this is a guy that we work with. You can look at the website. I'm not going to provide any credibility here. We work with him. And we have a few videos that did well. Obviously, if you look at the latest ones, some of them, if I can actually load that page, it's going to crash exactly when I want to make this video. Obviously. Let me just refresh a little bit. So latest ones, sometimes it works very well, like a big outlier. Sometimes, and this was repackaged as well, and sometimes it's not working that well, like 12k views. You try to hit the right audience, but it just doesn't catch up and it doesn't work, and your video gets stuck at 12k views with 500k subscribers. But that's not relevant. Let me explain when it did work, because that's the only thing that you should listen to anyway. Because if you're gonna look at a video that's not working, then you shouldn't replicate that because it's not working. Okay, let me see, which one am I gonna pick? They repackaged, they repackaged this one. But this was the one that I wanted to talk about. This one was 3 months ago, quite recent, and it went super ham. Like, we didn't expect this to go this hard. But the gap I think the gap in YouTube was big enough for the video to just go into that gap and fulfill people their curiosity. So why did this work so well? The topic is very niche. I think it's a very niche life advice video. It's not like an Alex Hormozi, like just do the work, be motivated kind of video. But the packaging is super broad. It took me 64 years to learn what I'll teach you in 11 minutes. And the thumbnail is just stop wasting your life. I think the heavy lifting from this packaging, first of all, insane credibility. He is actually on private jet, so the private jet in the background already provides some credibility that he is rich, and he is actually on private jet sometimes, as you can see here. Wait, maybe my face cam is in front of it. He is actually a billionaire, so you should actually believe him, but some people clickbait with it. Then the 64 years, he looks old, he looks 64, so people are gonna believe that he's 64. And then, okay, I've lived for 64 years, but everything that I know, everything, I'm just gonna tell to you in 11 minutes. That is a good offer, a good free offer, a good free value. I might as well just give it a go. And then the hook was great, so it popped off. But the heavy lifting for the packaging, at least here, was done with the title, obviously, like I just told you. But we tried that a few times again, and it doesn't work every single time. This one as well, the dark truth about wealth. It took me 64 years to learn. Probably a little bit too complicated. A thumbnail might have not been that interesting, and maybe also we burned out the topic a little bit because we have tried this title a few times in the last few months. So it's not gonna work every single time, obviously. It's always just gambling a little bit with the algorithm. The thumbnail here, stop wasting your life. The thing is, with this thumbnail and the text in this thumbnail, it screams you are doing something wrong right now. Like today, stop wasting your life. So you are living your life and you are wasting it right now. And I spent 64 years to learn this. So the thing that you're wasting right now, it cost me 64 years. So you might as well just watch this video, because otherwise you might waste the same thing that I was doing, if that makes any sense. That is what did the heavy lifting in the packaging. And then if you go into the video, it's also just nicely edited, and the hook is good, and the topic, and he has unique information, because he is actually 64 years and he is actually a billionaire, and he actually has over 10,000 apartments. So he actually has unique information. If your random average neighbor, Joe, is gonna make this video, nobody's gonna believe him because he's not rich. So he doesn't really have any specific insights. He just did the same thing that everyone else did, just live on 40k a year and just call it a day and just accept that you're gonna be poor. That's fine, but then you don't have these insights that other people do have, because they became rich and they have this status and the experience. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. This one is a great example where the title did all the heavy lifting. I'm super convinced that the title, I can share you another one at the end of this video as well. The title did all the heavy lifting here, 100%. I am rich yet owe nothing. It is kind of a complicated title, but just because the government is involved and like the credibility of I'm rich, it's just a big shock effect. And like I said, sometimes you have to be lucky. I am rich yet owe nothing. Here's what the government won't tell you about wealth. Basically saying, I have the money that you want and the government is lying to you, so you better listen to me if you also want to get rich, which is a great free offer, free value. And then the thumbnail just confirms what he's saying here, owe nothing. It was at the time, I think, a unique design. Now everyone has copied it, but that also helps. And once again, he looks old and rich, because he is old and rich, but for some reason he just looks rich as well. So that is extra credibility. But the title involving the government is always a great idea. Let me try to find at least one video. Well, this one. I think if you repackage this video and say how we made 100 million in 48 hours or 72 hours, That is a good title. Everyone knows this, like it's familiar. People know that Hormozi did that. But then in the thumbnail, you need to put something slightly inside of, how do you say, like going into the topic and then explaining something that people didn't know already. So yes, the title is we made 100 million in 72 hours. Everyone knows that, it's recognizable, people might click. And in the thumbnail you might want to say something, we lied, or it was even more, like actually 200 million, or we prepared this 3 years ago. You know, like something super crazy that people don't expect to see on that title. Like the same thing with the government title. One of the two things has to do the heavy lifting. Either your thumbnail or your title is going to be quite vague, or like your title can be vague, but then you need to have a very clear thumbnail, or your thumbnail can be vague and your title needs to be super clear. And in this case, both are a little bit too vague, so then it really doesn't hit at all. So that's what I would have tried, and that's how important the words in the thumbnail are. Last one that I want to share is my own client, Tom Wheelwright, that I'm servicing solo, just on my own. This video did super well 2 days ago. We have outliers. He's making a lot of money with us. Can't share any numbers, obviously, you understand why. But I'm actually working with him directly one-on-one. And this video, a month ago, invest like this and the government will literally pay you for life. That title, I made it up on the spot. I understood what people wanted to, like you're targeting an investor, and the investor is only thinking about risk, okay? Everything is risky. Putting your money in Bitcoin is risky. Putting your money into real estate is risky. And by doing this title that I came up myself, it didn't exist. Sometimes I steal titles, but this one didn't exist. The government will literally pay you for life. The government has so much credibility that they have unlimited money that people will believe you, like, oh, they will literally pay me for life. That's insane because it's the government, so it's definitely going to happen. If I tell you I'm going to pay you for life, you won't believe me, because how do you know that I have that capital? People know that the government has the capital, so that is the convincing thing that makes people believe. And the oil and gas is a great topic as well. People love to watch videos about oil and gas. That's why it hit so hard. This went super hard when it was uploaded directly. Now it's getting slightly extra views, but it had like 60k views in the first week, which is insane. Just because the title was so convincing, like the government will pay you for life, and then the oil and gas, putting it on top of real estate, like real estate will make you less money than oil and gas, which is obviously clickbaiting. But now people are curious, like, whoa, this combination of title thumbnail is intriguing me so much that I have to watch. Also the topic, obviously, but that is why they clicked. So Hormozi, if anyone of your team is watching this, I would try to bait people a bit more with the thumbnail text. That's the only thing really, because his videos are amazing. His information, because he's also almost a billionaire, is amazing, but his packaging is slightly lacking. Like, get obsessed, 26 harsh lessons. Like, that's a great topic. 26 harsh lessons I learned in 2025. Very valuable. You can say, I made 100 million in 2025, here's what I learned, and then the thumbnail text is going to be delusional, or ignore your wife. Like something crazy that you're like, well, are you actually saying that, you know? Or cheat, or you have to cheat, or it feels like cheating, something like that. Like we had one with Tom as well. Last one, and I will end up this video. It feels, yeah, basically cheating. This worked very well as well. How to turn everyday expenses into tax write-offs. It is a very niche video, basically cheating. The thumbnail did all the heavy lifting because it feels illegal, so people want to know. Anyway, if you want to see more videos from me myself, I would recommend you to click on this one. Click on this video. Thank you.